Are you ready for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Singleton. How are we?
What's going on, man? Y'all talked about Victor Wembanyama, didn't you?
We did talk about Victor Wembanyama. How did you know?
I popped into the text line about 10 minutes ago.
They still talking about Wemby?
Well, no. Well, about 10, 15 minutes ago, I popped into the text line, and I was like, I know exactly what they're talking about.
It's crazy, man. I didn't figure that bandwagon New York Knicks fans would ever be a thing, but the San Antonio Spurs have turned the people of the great state of Oklahoma into bandwagon New York Knicks fans. None more so than Michael and Shea Steely.
Yeah. I mean, I could have expected that. I mean, they did beat Oklahoma City. I can see how that happens. I too did not think they would end up all rooting for a team from New York. That's a little surprising, but all right.
I did watch the final 30 seconds of Game 4 of the NBA Finals last night. That was my level of investment. I was about to go to bed. I saw it was a 1-point game. I was like, oh, you know what? Better turn it on. See how this thing ends. Fortunately, got to witness a play that will go down in NBA Finals lore, especially if the Knicks win as one of the greatest.
Okay, so let me ask a question.
Uh-huh.
Did you at least ever go back and figure out how we got to that point?
Nope. I heard they came back from like 30 down, but, I saw the last 30 seconds. That was enough for me.
You should be tarred and feathered for that.
I'm an NBA casual.
I know you. Well, you're a casual. It's the finals, homie.
I know it. And so I watched the last 30 seconds because that's what us NBA casuals do.
I don't know. That sounds like I don't even know if that's casual level.
It might be a step below casual. That might be where we're at.
That's too funny. But no, Steely had showed me the clip that you guys played before, so I knew what was going on.
405-651-3439. That's how you get in touch with us on the First Liberty Bank text line. Hit us up with your questions, comments, feedback, concerns, any and all of the above. The show is brought to you today and every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno, family owned and operated. Dorsey Jones is staffed with employees who most of them have been with the company for 20-plus years. So they're passionate, they're experienced, they're eager to assist you before, during, and after the buying process as they get you behind the wheel of a brand new GMC, which, of course, offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today. Check out Dorsey Jones in El Reno. We get to lead the show today, Grayson Singleton, by giving a shout-out to one of my fellow countrymen. Well, okay, that probably sounds a little bit overly chauvinistic. One of my fellow Nebraskans.
I mean, it's also incredibly vague.
Yeah, it is incredibly vague. Far more vague than it needs to be. But one of my fellow Nebraskans, a prospect from my homeland back in the 402. I think it's still the 4. I think this whole state of Nebraska is still the 402. Maybe they split it up since I graduated high school. But we didn't get around to talking about it yesterday because it truly was a jam-packed show. At camp on Tuesday, though, there was a prospect that showed up from southern Nebraska, and when he showed up, I recognized him virtually immediately because, of course, I keep up with the goings-on up in my home state. I shouldn't say my home state. Oklahoma is my home state at this point, but the state I grew up in, the state of Nebraska, if there's anybody,
Nebraska's always going to be the home state.
If there's anybody that's worth anything on the recruiting trail from the state of Nebraska, odds are I know about them. I make it a point. I make it my business to know about them. And so I immediately noticed and identified that 3-star tight end Wyatt Fry out of Red Cloud, Nebraska, was one of Oklahoma's camp participants. Wyatt Fry plays his high school ball at Lawrence Nelson High in rural Nebraska. If you are not familiar with Red Cloud, that's understandable. It is a town out in the middle of nowhere, very south central Nebraska. Smack dab in the middle of the state, sits right there on the Kansas border. And it's perhaps best known for being the hometown of Pulitzer Prize award-winning author Willa Cather. And if you're familiar with Better Call Saul, it's portrayed in the show as the childhood hometown of Kim Wexler. So if you're a real Better Call Saul sicko, maybe you know of Red Cloud, Nebraska. If you're not, wouldn't fault you if you'd never heard of the place before. But Wyatt Fry, out of Red Cloud, is committed to Northwestern as of now. A 2027 tight end projection committed to Northwestern. And yet he was in town in Norman on Tuesday to camp with the Sooners. 6'5", about 220 pounds. And like many that play 8-man football somewhere in Middle America, Grayson, he does not play tight end. He plays quarterback at the high school level. One of those kids that when you flip on the tape and you see him playing quarterback, you immediately realize, okay, he's by leaps and bounds the best athlete and the biggest athlete on the field. I mean, he looks like he's a different species than everybody else out there. And so this is somebody that can and will play FBS football. That's not hard to figure. What is a little bit harder to figure is what position does he play? Because he's not a good enough quarterback to play power 4 ball. But he's a good enough athlete that you can do something with his traits, with his tools. You can coach him up to be something in the P4. And the vision at Northwestern, the vision at several other schools that were involved in his recruitment was to make him a tight end. That is what Northwestern has him committed as a tight end. But he does not play tight end. He's never really had the opportunity to get reps, get work at tight end. When he showed up to Oklahoma for camp on Tuesday, Grayson, it was, in fact, the very first time in his life that he had camped at the tight end position. And so he is, like, you have to teach this kid how to play tight end. Just assume he knows nothing, teach him everything. He moves really well. He has a fundamental understanding of what it takes to block, what it takes to run routes. But a lot of the technique that is required to play that position, you're going to have to develop with a kid like this. And after Oklahoma found out that Ben Kolar was headed to Stanford, they started to do a little scouting. They started to keep eyes out, keep looks out for a potential second take at tight end, and Wyatt Fry was a guy that they decided, you know, that we might be able to do something with him here. Let's get him to camp, see how he looks. And so that's what they did. And, I mean, I don't really know how else to say it, Grayson. At camp on Tuesday, he looked like a spectacular athlete that still has an enormous amount to learn when it comes to playing the tight end position, because that's exactly what he is.
I mean, yeah, and that's all good and fine too. Also, this guy's a pretty good basketball player as well.
Yes.
Saw some of his highlights there. 6'5", 215 is what he's got listed at as his huddle. I'm gonna guess he didn't get any shorter or any lighter. So it seems as if his body has made the decision for him what position he's going to play, given that he's not that great of a thrower of the football. So, I mean, it's one of those things where you look at the entire picture and you see that you've got Jack Van Dorselaer that has some eligibility left. You have two true freshmen in Ryder Mix and Tyler Ruxer. You've got an incoming freshman in the 2027 class by the name of Seneca Driver, plus I left out some others as well. I think they're situated numbers-wise to be able to go get a guy like a Wyatt Fry, and a guy that you have to teach how to play the position. I think they've got enough of a buffer, given that you don't have a mass exodus via the transfer portal, that you can take a guy like that and have him as your 7th tight end on the roster or what have you. I would be intrigued by this, for sure.
Now, Oklahoma didn't offer Wyatt Fry after camp on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to continue to monitor him. We'll see what happens. But it ought to be stated, if it isn't already understood, and we talked about it at the time, but it ought to be understood by all that the illustrious University of Oklahoma does not view a second tight end in the 2027 cycle as a necessity. This is not a need for Oklahoma. This is a luxury. If the only guy they sign at the position is the number 1 tight end in America, Seneca Driver, they're okay with that. They're just fine with that, especially with the youth that they have at the position. Guys that haven't contributed yet and won't contribute much in 2026 in all likelihood, but that have bright futures ahead of them. Guys like Ryder Mix, like Tyler Ruxer, Trinae Washington, certainly Jack Van Dorselaar, although he will probably see some snaps this fall. Oklahoma's not in a position where they need 2 tight ends, and if they were to take a second one, it would probably be a guy, whether it's Wyatt Fry or somebody else, it would likely be a guy that is a developmental project that's not going to come in with any expectation of seeing the field in year 1 or year 2 or maybe even year 3. It's going to be somebody that you entrust to Jason Witten for development's sake. Somebody that, you tell the future NFL Hall of Famer, Jason Witten, hey, it's your job to get this kid ready. We're not going to put any particular timetable on getting him ready, but it's your job to make sure that at a certain point in time, before his career at the University of Oklahoma is up, he's capable of going out there and holding his own at tight end, doing all that is necessary to play the position at a high level in the SEC.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of made it tough with Ben Kolar is Ben Kolar's the type of guy, Grayson, that can and should expect to be on the field early at the collegiate level. He's built for it. He's ready for it. Are those opportunities going to be there? Would they have been there for him in 2027 or 2028 had he committed to the illustrious University of Oklahoma? Maybe not.
And I feel like that's the part of that we neglected to state when he committed to Stanford is that there might be a more immediate path to playing time for a guy like Ben Kolar because of the youth that you've just alluded to and the fact that the other guy in his class is the number 1 tight end in his class. So there was a lot more of a likelihood that Ben Kolar, in a way, got lost in the shuffle, so to speak, at Oklahoma, regardless of how long he ended up there. Because remember this, too. When you don't have a guy that produces early, this is part of the dangers of the portal. You look at a situation, you say, we need an immediate known commodity there. Well, I've been sitting here developing and I'm ready to go, but you haven't proven anything, and we might need somebody who's proven something now. So there just lies that potential for that to happen, which the more I thought about it, the more it kind of made some semblance of sense, football-wise, that, he'd go to Stanford.
Big Rick in Owasso on the text line reports that in 1982, I went to watch a friend play a high school basketball game. Burr Oak, Kansas, at Red Cloud, Nebraska. They had a high school then. And I wore my OU shirt, and I almost didn't get out of there alive. I need a bit more color, Big Rick in Owasso. Did you almost not get out of there alive because you were wearing OU stuff, or is Red Cloud, Nebraska just a dangerous place? I need a little bit more detail.
Where is Red Cloud, Nebraska?
Smack dab in the middle of the state, as far south as you can go.
Okay.
It sits right on the border of Nebraska and Kansas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the guy. Okay. Yeah, where Wyatt Fry's from.
Yeah,
Got
it is about 6.
I got lost in the Lawrence part of it.
Yes, it is about 6 hours from Norman.
Okay.
On the road. About a 6-hour drive.
I see.
Big Rick in Owasso just said, yes. Rick, that doesn't help me. What were you saying yes to? Yes, you almost didn't get out of there alive because you were wearing your OU stuff, or
no? I think that means yes to both questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all of the above.
Is Red Cloud?
Red Cloud is dangerous, and it's even more dangerous if you're repping OU there.
Yeah,
I
is that where the Nebraska hood is? I mean, granted, a ghetto area called Red Cloud would kind of check out.
Yeah, no, the Nebraska hood certainly isn't anywhere in the rural portion of the state.
Hey, man, you never know what those people be up to with nothing around.
There is, oh gosh, I'm going to forget the name of the town. There is a town, I'm going to get you some facts here. I don't want to speak out of turn. There is a town in southeast Nebraska that the only thing it's famous for is a series of murders. Back in the 1890s or something.
Has there been a documentary made about this?
Okay, no, hang on. I was somewhat correct in laying this out. It's Rouleau, Nebraska is the name of the town. During the early 1980s, I'm reading straight from the Wikipedia page for Rouleau.
Damn, that's almost 100 years after what you said.
I know. I thought it was like in the 1800s sometime. No, but 1980s. Okay, that was not that long ago. During the early 1980s, so right about the time that Big Rick visited Red Cloud, a small group of Christian identity survivalists began living in a religious cult located on a farm 2 miles north of Rouleau along the Missouri River. The farm was converted into a compound, and the members of the cult would commit thefts throughout the Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas area. The stolen property would be sold in order to buy weapons and survival equipment for the group. Ryan was ultimately convicted and sentenced to death after the Nebraska State Patrol discovered that he was responsible for the torture murders of a 26-year-old cult member and a 5-year-old boy. Ryan died of natural causes in prison in 2015. So, yeah, there are some seedy areas in the great state of Nebraska.
See, I thought you were about to tell me about some area of Omaha I should never go to, not wherever the hell that is.
Big Rick in Owasso says, they did not appreciate the OU. I was threatened to leave or get my butt kicked. Well, I guess that was during the true heat of the Barry Switzer-Tom Osborne rivalry, so I get that. And it doesn't matter that Lincoln, Nebraska is like a 6-7 hour drive away from certain cities and communities in the state of Nebraska. You go anywhere in that state, there are Husker faithful.
Oh, sure. And there's nothing else to draw their attention.
No, and they all will make the pilgrimage on Saturdays in the fall. They will drive from hundreds and hundreds of miles away to watch Nebraska football. That surprises me less. Now that I think about, okay, 1982, yep, that was when Tom Osborne and Barry Switzer were battling every single year with Big 8 title, national title implications.
Oh, that part. I was like, which part are you not surprised by? That or the string of murders that you just read off?
Yes, no, the string of murders, yes, surprising.
Okay.
Not surprising that
I'm just making sure.
Worst of humanity do exist, but you don't often see them committing their crimes in rural Nebraska of all places. But it happened for whatever that guy's name was. I already forgot.
When you said the word compound, I was like, oh, this story's about to get real bad.
Whenever there's a compound you know something sketchy's going on. Yeah. You know something sketchy's going on.
Nothing good ever happens at a compound.
No, not at all. 405-651-3439. 405-651-3439. That is the First Liberty Bank text line. Oklahoma did pick up a commitment over the weekend. We haven't talked a lot about it yet. Let's do that when we return. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. You're listening to Locked In.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Coach Stoops here for Van Hoos Fence. If you want to work with the best local fence company and get championship service, contact my friend Mark and the Van Hoos Fence team. Van Hoos Fence gives each customer the most professional craftsmanship and competitive pricing in Oklahoma. From wood to chain link to vinyl to metal fences, the Van Hoos Fence team does it all. Contact the Fencing All-Americans at Van Hoos Fence, 405-735-1167 or vhfence.com.
After a car crash, life can be hard. You're hurt, stressed, and then when you need help the most, the insurance company doesn't care.
They drag their feet, question your injuries, and make things difficult. They put profits over people.
At McIntyre Law, we level the playing field. We take on the billion-dollar insurance companies so you can focus on what matters, getting your life back. Call us at 405-777-7000. You deserve better.
Weigh in on the Locked In First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. First Liberty Bank. Bank like a champion today with First Liberty Bank at myfirstlibertybank.com.
The Norman Chamber of Commerce encourages you to shop, eat, and play local this summer. Get all your bases covered at Play It Again Sports with new and quality used gear. Buy, sell, or trade new and used sports equipment, including baseball, softball, football, tennis, soccer, and score your official NYSA and Oklahoma Celtic apparel at Play It Again Sports. Too tired to cook tonight? Skip the kitchen and order online with Thai Thai Asian Bistro. Enjoy a diverse, flavorful menu of authentic curries, chef specials, and fresh appetizers. Taste the tradition. Order online now at Thai Thai Asian Bistro. The historic Sooner Theater is a summer staple and a must-see downtown. See great local theater, concerts, or attend performing arts classes. Find upcoming events and tickets at SoonerTheater.org. Remember to shop, eat, and play this summer in Norman.
Hi, this is Dylan Buckingham. As a parent of 2 boys who have faced life-threatening health challenges, our family knows when your child is sick, everything changes. Suddenly, nothing matters more than finding hope. For our family, that hope came through the care and support made possible by the Children's Health Foundation. They're advancing research, improving treatment, and standing beside families all across Oklahoma. Because every child deserves hope, healing, and a healthy future. Join us at chfkids.com.
Hi, I'm Troy Green. I grew up in foster care, homeless and forgotten. I know what it means to struggle just to survive. I wasn't born into power. I fought my way through it. I became a police officer, a coach, and a small business owner, and spent my life protecting families, helping kids, and standing up for working people. Washington already works for the powerful. I'm running for the people they overlook. So I'm asking for your vote June 16th. I'm Troy Green, and I approve this message because it's time to bring integrity and accountability back to Washington and respect and dignity back to Oklahoma.
Beats and Bites is back for its 10th anniversary. Join us to celebrate a decade of delicious food, incredible live music, and unforgettable memories at Riverwind Casino. The party starts Saturday, June 13th with Cheap Trick and Gin Blossoms. Book your tickets online or at the box office for only $10. And we'll see you at Riverwind.
Hi, everybody. Toby Rowland here for one of my favorite places to golf, the Trails Golf Club in Norman. The Trails offers great golf activities for the entire family. Men's and Ladies Golf Association events, summer junior golf for the kids, plus club fittings throughout the year. The Trails also has great family social events, monthly special dinners, plus holiday brunches and catering. When you're looking for the perfect place to golf, check out the Trails Golf Club in Norman. Contact Zane Alexander today at 405-364-3790 or visit trailsgolf.com.
I love when we get into some Nebraska lore here on Locked In. The Enid Destroyer hit us up on the text line and said, when I visited the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota, there was a small Nebraska town on the border famous for selling more beer than anywhere else, as the tribe members would drive or walk there to get beer since it wasn't allowed on the reservation. White Clay. Yes, many such cases. For instance, there is, and I believe the woman that runs it is still alive. There is a town in northern Nebraska with a population of 1 resident. 1 resident, Monowai, Nebraska. And the resident's name is Elsie Eiler. She has lived there. She's widowed. She's lived there alone for the last 15 years. And the only thing in town, literally the only thing, is her house and a bar that she runs. And it is a very lucrative operation, because people will come from all over, not just folks from the reservation, but folks from all of the surrounding agricultural communities, you know, farmers, hired hands, etc., and they will come drink at her bar. And so it used to be, I mean, it wasn't like a bustling town, but it was a town of a few hundred people, and slowly but surely it withered away, and as of today, she is literally the only resident. That's kind of how it goes up there in northern Nebraska.
I mean, I guess.
You can make some pretty good money if you're in the alcohol purveying business.
Hey, look, man. Being the only person in a town is not my thing, but hey, it sounds like you've had a pretty good life. I will say that, and a thriving business. So good for you.
Coach Mike. All right, let's dig into this. Coach Mike hit us up on the text line 405-651-3439 to ask about Oklahoma's newest commit. And it happened over the weekend, and I don't know that we have talked about it on this show yet. There's been so much that's happened, and this kind of flew under the radar for a multiplicity of reasons, but it does warrant a mention. Oklahoma took a second scholarship quarterback in the 2027 cycle over the weekend.
Yeah.
So they have Jamison Roberts committed. Jamison Roberts is their quarterback of the future. At least that's the plan. You can never bank on these things, especially not at a position where sometimes the guys that seem like the surest things wind up being total busts, i.e. Jackson Arnold. But Oklahoma decided to double up as Lawton High School quarterback Noah Smith came to camp last Friday, impressed the staff. They brought him back over the weekend for a visit, offered him a scholarship, and he committed. He jumped on it. Now, Grayson, I don't know if you've had the chance to watch the tape on Noah Smith. He's a solid player.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say there's anything elite at this juncture about his game, but if you're looking for skills that can be developed, skills that can be refined, help him morph into a legit player at the FBS level one day, those skills are all there when you turn on the tape. He's got good mobility, got a great arm. He can throw on the run with precision. He is somebody that had a bunch of D2 scholarship offers, would probably have wound up going D2 or FCS if Oklahoma hadn't gotten involved. But the Sooners are fortunate in that they have 105 scholarships to distribute now. And so in years past, yes, Noah Smith would have been a guy that they would have tried to PWO. But they don't have to do that anymore because they have 105 scholarships. And you can very easily spare a scholarship and a roster spot that would otherwise have been reserved in the past for a PWO to spend on a fourth or fifth quarterback. And that's what Noah Smith is going to be. He's a developmental, he's a depth guy. Roberts is the guy that comes in with expectations on his shoulders. There's no question about that. But at 6'3", 210 pounds, with a plus arm and plus athleticism, there's a lot to like about adding Noah Smith, even if he doesn't wind up ever becoming Oklahoma's starter, even if he never plays a meaningful snap at OU. What the staff really appreciates about this kid is that he's going to be able to add stability and consistency in that room because Oklahoma is where he wants to be, Grayson, as evidenced by the fact that he jumped on the offer immediately, which, okay, yes, that's a business decision as much as it is anything else for a kid that was generating mostly D2 interest up until OU got involved. But he's somebody that is going to be a consistent presence, that you can count on being a consistent presence in that quarterback room for several years. And he's not going to be the type of guy that you're trying to replace after he was in town for a year because he realized that he wasn't going to start next season.
Yeah, and with a guy like this, with a depth piece, I remember when I first joined the station and then ultimately joined the show, you always referenced that Oklahoma was always going to have an embarrassment of riches at quarterback because they don't want to have another situation like that one OU Texas game.
Ain't no doubt.
And you could do a lot worse than this dude because, look, he's a big dude. If he doesn't have anything, he's 6'5", about 210, 215 pounds. That's number one. Number two, I mean, the dude can spin it. He can spin it and he can sling it. Like, he can play some ball. So, I mean, no, there's nothing on this tape that's going to wow you or anything like that. But if this is the guy that's going to be the fourth quarterback at some point, and if catastrophe strikes, you got to send him into a game, maybe in his second or third year into the program, second or third year in the offense, if Ben Arbuckle hangs around for that long, then you could be in a lot worse of a situation with a guy like that. And obviously, kid like that who wants to be here, you know he's going to learn, you know he's going to put in his work, learn his playbook. I think you could do just fine with what you're trying to do here.
The easiest comparison to make here would be like at Jet New,
right? Yes.
Like, if he's the Jet New of the Oklahoma quarterback room for another couple years after Jet New's time at Oklahoma passes, whether that comes because he graduates or chooses to transfer someone else for a shot at the starting role, like, you need that guy. You need that guy. And you hope you never have to play him. But if you do get in a situation where you have to throw that guy on the field, it's useful to have a guy that isn't a total waste of space. We've been here before. Need I take you back to October 8th, 2022? When you are scraping the bottom of the barrel at the quarterback position, it's nice to have a guy who, at the very least, isn't going to drive the car off a cliff. And I think
you might drive it at 30 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Like, you know what? If you got to play conservative football, I get that. Totally get that. You can scheme around that. You can game plan around that. What you can't have is a guy that actively disadvantages your chances of winning a football game, and a guy who, in fact, you trust a tight end more so than him to take snaps in the Red River Shootout.
Mm-hmm.
So, I am never going to fault Oklahoma for spending a scholarship on a homegrown quarterback who's got some nice tools, and if things go a certain way, if he needs to have his number called some point down the line, he's not going to be completely out of his element, out of his depth.
And by the way, probably didn't have to spend a whole lot of resources to go get him either.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's not going to be a six-figure NIL guy.
Yeah, I mean, NIL, resources to go out and visit, even time. Time is a resource.
Yeah,
time to go out and visit, too.
The new PWO is Scully only, basically. You're getting a scholarship. You're not getting any NIL beyond that. And everybody on the roster does get NIL. I think everybody on the roster gets at least $26,000 a year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the number. But, yeah, he'll get a scholarship.
Man.
He'll get a scholarship to Oklahoma. He'll get a nice little stipend on top of that. And he will add depth and stability in that quarterback room for years to come.
Yeah, man.
And that's a valuable thing.
That's valuable for everybody. Valuable for Oklahoma. You get a scholarship, get you about $2,000 a month. It's more than I got when I was in college.
Michael and Marlowe says, feels like it's very possible Bo Bentley is the only quarterback in the current room left next season. I mean, that would be the worst case scenario, Michael. But, I mean, let's acknowledge, like, that possibility does exist. It certainly does. Because Whit Neubauer is a guy that started before. Maybe he wants to go have a shot to start somewhere. I would hope, and I would think he's going to at least want to battle Bo Bentley for a year at Oklahoma and just see how that goes before he bounces. Because, I mean, right now, I don't know. I give preference to Bo Bentley. I think Bo Bentley is my QB2 heading into the 2026 season. But there's a case to be made for Whit Neubauer, and he looked pretty good in the spring game. And so he's not somebody that is decidedly behind Bo Bentley right now as far as that competition is concerned. So you'd hope he sticks around, but maybe he doesn't. Same thing for Jet New, right? Does Jet New look up at Bo Bentley, who's a year younger than him, realize he's on the fast track to the starting role, sees Jamison Roberts coming in behind him, and think, you know what? It's probably not going to happen for me here. I want to go try my hand at Oklahoma State, for instance, which is where he was committed before flipping to Oklahoma, or somewhere else where maybe he might have a better chance of being the guy. You always have to take that possibility into account. And both Whit Neubauer and Jet New, as far as I can tell, as far as I've heard, are guys that love being at Oklahoma. And they're not in a hurry to figure out what the next thing is. But you can never take anything for granted, least of all at the quarterback position. In the year of our Lord, 2026, when there is NIL money on the table, if you want to go transfer somewhere, anywhere, the odds are you want to transfer, there's a school that's going to be willing to cut you a better deal than the deal you have at whatever school you're at right now. Puerto Rican Sooner says, Parker, you don't have to go back to 2022. How about 2024 versus Tennessee? Deer in the headlights in your own stadium. Yeah, no question, Puerto Rican Sooner, but Oklahoma just put in QB2 at that point, which was Michael Hawkins. The reality of 2022 and why I brought it up was because Oklahoma's starting quarterback was unavailable. Their backup quarterback, the guy that would have started that day in General Booty, was unavailable. And so they were down to the third string guy. And if you recall that spring leading into the 2022 season, it took Oklahoma forever to find another quarterback to bring in via the transfer portal. Just add another body in that room. They tried for Gary Bohannon. Remember that? He chose to go to
Baylor,
South Florida.
right?
Yeah. He chose to go to South Florida instead of coming to OU. Davis Bevel was like the absolute last option. It was like Davis Bevel or bust by the end of it. He committed to Oklahoma in like June. He was a way late pickup. but he was really all that was left.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to be in a spot like that, where you're adding a body just for the sake of adding a body.
And then, God forbid, you need that body.
Because if you need that body, and all he is a body, you're in a pickle. A 918 listener says, I've been trying to listen to KREF on the app because in Tulsa we don't have you guys anymore because 1430 sucks. Can you help me out on why we do not have any app service right now? We'll check on that. You should have app service. If you can hear us right now, I mean, you have app service, but I'm assuming that listener can't hear us right now. I'm not sure how to communicate. Well, I guess we'll text that listener back and tell them we're working on it. But if any of y'all are having app issues, let us know. We'll do what we can on our end to get that resolved. That's above my pay grade, but I can escalate it to the proper folks, certainly. 405-651-3439. That is the First Liberty Bank text line if you need to get a hold of us for whatever reason. Have a question, have an opinion, need tech support, hit us up. 405-651-3439. One final segment of Locked In coming up on the other side. Keep it right here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510. The Sooners are headed to Omaha, and you've heard every second of the Sooner baseball season here on the home of Sooner fans, the Ref Radio Sports Network.
It's opening day of the 2026 NCAA tournament. Welcome to Midtown Atlanta. The Sooners are the 2 seed here in the ATL, and they open today with the 3 seed, the Citadel Bulldogs. Fly ball to right, well hit, back is Stratus at the wall, it's gone! A lead-off home run to right for Jason Walk. And it's 1-0 Sooner. Got it. Swing it. And you can unhitch the wagon. Oklahoma is still alive on Survival Sunday. Tonight at the championship round in the Atlanta Regional, it's the Oklahoma Sooners and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Oklahoma's going to have to try to beat the best offense in America twice to advance to the Supers. High fly ball to right. Go ball. Go! Hernandez back to the wall. It's gone! Big Maple. Grand slam. Oklahoma has rallied from a 6-run deficit, and they lead it by 1. Oh, mama! Popped him up. He's got it. And you can unhitch the wagon. There will be a Game 7 in Atlanta. High fly ball, center field. Burris back. Warning track. Whoa! It's gone! He popped him off! Oklahoma is super! Oklahoma wins the Atlanta Regional! The boys from Norman have shocked college baseball! Welcome to the Sweet 16 of college baseball here in north central Kansas. It's Oklahoma and Kansas, the Sooners and the Jayhawks in the Super Regionals. The pitch. Fly ball left center field. That's well hit. Owens is back. Warning track. Whoa! Gone! Taki did it again! A 3-run home run to left. And it's 4-0 OU. The pitch. Got it. Swing it. And the inning is over. 6 Ks for Rager, and he puts the Birds down in order in the 6th pitch. Ground ball to second. Branch is there. Throw to first. And Oklahoma's 1 win away from Omaha. First pitch to him is ripped into left field. That's a base hit. A 2-run single for Dayton LaChance. Popped him up. Is it playable? Dayton LaChance behind home plate, drifting. He's got it! And you can unhitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the barn. This Sooner magical postseason run isn't over yet. Skip's boys are headed to Omaha. Oklahoma is back in the College World Series.
Stay tuned to hear Sooner baseball in the College World Series here on the home of Sooner fans, the Ref, and streaming worldwide on the KREF app. The Ref, the home of Sooner fans, and the home for OU baseball's run to Omaha.
Pub W in Norman isn't your average pub. Think crispy fried deviled eggs, bold burgers, and local beers on tap. All in a chill space, perfect for watching the game or grabbing dinner with friends.
Located off of 24th Avenue, Pub W brings comfort food elevated. Pub W, your neighborhood pub. Tune in every Friday to hear more about the Hal Smith Restaurant Group during The Rush and the Dari Noka Show here on The Ref.
Hey, have you been noticing a problem with your vehicle's transmission? You do not want to wait on that situation. You need to get it looked at now. Bring it by AMCO and let their professionals check it out for you. With their free vehicle courtesy check, they can help pinpoint the problem and then offer options for repair. And financing is available at all locations. AMCO, Norman, Midwest City, Oklahoma City, Edmond, Yukon, and Tulsa.
Bringing it to the finish line here on a Thursday. It is locked in here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton here in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios. The show brought to you today and every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Hit us up on the First Liberty Bank text line, 405-651-3439, if there's anything you're curious about. And we were going to go here anyway. It's crazy how many listeners are just right on top of the next thing we're going to talk about. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel like we have educated the folks appropriately to tune in with us every single day. A 405 listener asked us, who is OVing this weekend? Well, Grayson Singleton, there are 5 uncommitted official visitors showing up to Oklahoma this weekend. That's a smaller number than was initially anticipated because, of course, over the weekend, last weekend that is, Oklahoma lost Trayvon Hall to Ole Miss. Gideon Gash committed to Texas Tech and decided to cancel his remaining officials. And Yazin Zion, the blue-chip defensive lineman from the state of Arizona, also canceled his remaining officials after committing to Wisconsin. So, just 5 uncommitted official visitors coming in this weekend. That list reads as follows. Wide receiver Milan Green, 5'10", 180 pounds, out of Cardinal Ritter High in St. Louis, Missouri. He just picked up the Oklahoma offer on Tuesday at camp. The staff will be bringing him back for an OV this weekend, and things look really, really, really good there. Be very surprised. We would be if Oklahoma does not wind up with Milan Green's commitment. Along the same lines, Oklahoma is very much expected to land 3-star offensive lineman Jackson Lawler out of Bushland High School in Amarillo, Texas. He OVs this weekend. Oklahoma pushed that up. They're very serious about getting this thing done and done quickly with Lawler, who picked up his Oklahoma offer last Tuesday at camp. You have 3-star cornerback Trenton Blaylock from Atascocita High School in Humble, Texas. 3-star kid. For all intents and purposes, he is down to Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, and Texas. I believe Florida State gets his last official, but it's a long shot that he will wind up going to Florida State. As I understand it, he has a top 3, an unofficial top 3, and that is OU, Texas, Vanderbilt. He's already OV'd with the Commodores and with the Longhorns. You, of course, have Case Alexander coming to town. Oklahoma gets the last shot at the 4-star linebacker from Washington High School, just about 20 minutes down the road. That is a mano-a-mano recruiting battle between the Sooners and Penn State. And finally, 3-star athlete Jaden Fields out of Hutto, Texas, whom the Sooners like at safety. He is finishing up his OV slate with a trip to OU this weekend and TCU next weekend. He has already OV'd Texas A&M, Stanford, and SMU. We'll see what happens there between him and the Sooners. That's kind of an open process, as much as it can be, with 5 finalists in the mix, all of whom have drawn or will draw official visits. Grayson, if you had to take those 5,
okay,
Jaden Fields, Blaylock, Lawler, Milan Green, Case Alexander, and you had to rank them in order of importance to the Oklahoma class, I think you and I will probably agree on number 1, but how would you rank those 5?
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think we're going to agree on number 1.
Oh, okay.
Is your number 1 Case Alexander?
Yes.
Okay, Case Alexander is not my number 1.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, see, here's the thing. When we talk about importance, what makes importance?
Need.
Bingo. Does Oklahoma need Case Alexander? There's an argument both ways.
There is an argument both ways.
But you got Taven Epps and you got Cooper Witten.
I think the interesting thing, though, and part of the reason why I'm comfortable putting Case Alexander at number 1 for me is there's actually more of a need for him now than there was a week ago with losing Gideon Gash.
Sure.
Because the cheetah flexibility with Case Alexander is something that Oklahoma really likes.
And maybe, I don't know if we've talked about this on this show, but what about the cheetah flexibility of Cooper Witten?
Yeah, no doubt. He could play it too.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Case Alexander would be my number 2. Actually.
Okay.
Case Alexander's my number 2. Milan Green is my number 1.
Okay.
Because this is 2 years in a row where we've had some theatrics with wide receiver when it comes to
yes, we have.
When it comes to the official visit part of the recruiting calendar. So I think getting a Milan Green on board, I think is number 1, considering you only have 1 commit there at wide receiver. So I've got Green number 1. I've got Alexander number 2. What am I left with? Lawler,
Fields,
and
Blaylock.
Lawler, I'll go with number 3 because of the mission that Oklahoma has to take all these offensive linemen and rebuild from the ground up and from high school up for the offensive line. So mentality there makes me put it at number 3. Trenton Blaylock, Trenton Blaylock actually be number 5 for me. Because they don't really need any more corners. I hear
you on that.
You'd like to have another one. You'd like to have Trenton Blaylock. Don't get me wrong. Trenton Blaylock is a heck of a player. But you don't really need a whole lot more corners. And I'd slide Jaden Fields in there at number 4.
So as I mentioned, I have Case Alexander at number 1. Just because, a top-rated player left on the board.
Yeah.
Top-rated, well, not the top-rated uncommitted prospect in the state, but the top-rated target for Oklahoma in the state that's still uncommitted. It would also, as we talked about yesterday, it would kind of feel like an upset. Crazy as that is to say, it would feel like an upset if Oklahoma could swing this thing late in the process after Penn State has ostensibly held the lead for so long in Alexander's recruitment. And it's also the fact, man, that you'd end the drought at Washington High.
Sure.
You'd put to death any narrative surrounding the Alexander family and the University of Oklahoma. That would be a huge win for OU for a number of reasons. I also just love the athletic profile that he would bring to the table for that Oklahoma linebacker room, the position versatility, the ability potentially to give you snaps at Cheetah in the long run, just as Cooper Witten can, and likely will. I think you'll see both of those guys dabble at Cheetah during their time at OU, if indeed Alexander does choose Oklahoma. My number 2 is actually Jaden Fields.
Okay.
Because much as we believe that Bodie Sparrow is going to be a Sooner, you can't count your chickens before they're hatched, right? There's still the opportunity that something goes awry there. And even if Oklahoma lands Bodie Sparrow, well, hey, Jalen Scott just OV'd Georgia Tech over the weekend.
That's a good point.
Very quietly.
That's a good point.
And so there's a flirtation happening there between your lone safety commit and another program. And so when you throw that into the picture, and you're mindful of the reality that Oklahoma wants to be able to take 3 safeties anyway, the Jaden Fields recruitment looms quite large, much larger than it did over the last few weeks. I would say in the last, really ever since that Jalen Scott news broke Sunday, so in the last 4 days, the Jaden Fields recruitment has taken on an entirely new layer of significance. So that's number 2 for me. I would probably go Green and Lawler are somewhat interchangeable. Oklahoma's going to get both of those guys. I don't think it's a secret. I would probably go Green at 3, Lawler at 4, just because of the need that Oklahoma has at wide receiver in this class right now versus the need that they have at offensive line with 5 dudes already committed in the offensive trenches. And then I agree with you. Number 5 has to be Trenton Blaylock, not because he's not a really good player, as you mentioned, but because Oklahoma already has Gabe Osborne, Michael Davis, and Mikhail McCreary committed. If they don't sign anybody else at the cornerback position, they're going to be okay. They're fine. They want Trenton Blaylock. They'll take Trenton Blaylock. They would love to have both boys, both brothers. Boy, how good has Oklahoma been in recent years when it comes to recruiting brothers, man? It's almost an annual tradition.
Bowens, Nelsons.
Yeah. Jandros, Hawkins, McCulloughs.
Sure. Yeah.
The list goes on and on, man.
Yeah.
The Sawchucks. Oklahoma's had a darn near 1,000 hit rate when it comes to recruiting and signing brothers in the last few years. They'd love to be able to keep that going with the Blaylocks. Glenn from Nashville wants to know, is Osborne going to scare Blaylock off? Here's all I can tell you, Glenn. And I had this conversation with Trent back in February or March. It's been months now. I had this conversation with Trent. I asked him, look, man, is it a deterrent at all to you if you want to commit to a school, but they have a really, really solid cornerback class and 2-3 guys already committed at the position? Like, do you start to get worried about what your playing time or opportunity is going to look like there? And he said, no, absolutely not. He said, I'm going to have to compete. I'm going to have to earn it wherever I go. And so I don't really care how many cornerbacks are committed in my same class or sign in my same class. As far as I see it, no matter where I sign, if I'm going to go play big boy football, I'm going to have to earn my keep. I'm going to have to earn my share of the snap count. So I don't think it's something that's factoring heavily into his decision.
Gotcha. Speaking of corner, any updates on Brandon Sherrard?
OU and LSU.
There you go.
That's kind of what it's become. And I think it's this weekend that he goes to LSU for that OV. So that quietly, man, is a recruitment that Oklahoma has set a high bar in. And it's up to LSU to meet or exceed the OU standard on that OV. Otherwise, OU may have a decision to make. Because would they take 5 cornerbacks? I don't think they would.
I mean, granted, 3 months ago, it kind of looked like they would have taken 10.
Can you take 5 cornerbacks? You can certainly take 5 offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
And Oklahoma's going to take 6. They'd like to take 7. That makes sense. You play 5 offensive linemen at once. You only play 2 cornerbacks. Outside cornerbacks, that is.
Yeah.
Sometimes there'll be packages where you have 3, even 4 on the field. But like for all intents and purposes, 80% of the time you only have 2 cornerbacks on the field. Can Oklahoma take 5? Could they find room for Sherrard and Blaylock? The tough thing is, let's say Trenton Blaylock has an awesome OV. Oklahoma just does a bang-up job. He wants to turn in his chip. Are you really going to make that call to Brandon Sherrard, who's a top 200 player in the nation, and say, hey, thanks, but no thanks? Especially after Oklahoma surged fast in his recruitment. They didn't offer him until May.
Yeah.
They offered him at the beginning of the month, had him on campus for the OV at the end of the month. Boom, all of a sudden Oklahoma's maybe not squarely in the driver's seat, but right there in the top 2. And then you're going to turn around and tell the kid, hey, much as we'd love to have you, we're full? I mean, it comes with the territory, I guess. Sometimes you have to pass that message along to a kid that you really, really like. But I feel like that'd be a really hard call for the Oklahoma staff to make, too.
Yeah. Wishbone on the First Liberty Bank text line says, is OU in on John Meredith?
No, that's a Texas and Texas A&M battle all the way for the number 1 cornerback in the country. A 405 listener with an interesting angle here. Assuming Blaylock signs, could any one of the 4 play safety? That's absolutely a possibility, and that might help solve Oklahoma's quandary at safety as well. I would say Mikhail McCreary would be the most likely of the 4 or 5 to slide to safety. I think he's the one that most naturally could project to that role.
Because you don't want to move Osborne.
Yeah, no, Osborne's playing corner all the way. If there's one guy you're not messing with, it's Gabe Osborne, because he has first-round draft pick potential at cornerback. So if they were to move one of them, I would say it's probably Mikhail McCreary. These are first-world problems. These are the types of problems you enjoy having. These are the types of problems that Oklahoma hopes to have on the other side of this OV weekend. And we have much more to discuss regarding this batch of OVs coming up over the weekend for Oklahoma. 23, is it still the number 23? Or we're down to 22. Lost 2 last weekend, gained 1 with Noah Smith. 22 is the number. 22 verbal commits on board for Oklahoma. The roundabout number that I will continue to cite is 30. I think Oklahoma's class is going to wind up being somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 players. Be anywhere from 7 to 10 more that wind up jumping on board between now and signing day. Who might those 7 to 10 be? That's what we're here to stay on top of for you here on Locked In. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. We will be right back here tomorrow. Same time, same place, here on the Ref Sports Radio Network. Coming up next, it is The Rush with Teddy and Tyler.
That is
We'll
not
see you tomorrow.
Tyler.
Not Tyler? Teddy and Grayson Singleton.
There you go.
Coming up.